All right, today we are going to be looking at the adaptations of the Douglas fir tree. We would like to call it a Douglas fir tree, that's its common name, but scientists oftentimes use their scientific name, which is the practice of taxonomy, taxonomic classification of living organisms. The Douglas fir tree is in the kingdom Plantae, and the phylum Coniferida, class Pinocida, order Pinales, family Pinacea, genus Pseudotsuga, and species is Pseudotsuga menziesii. So when we look specifically at some adaptations of this tree, we're going to move on up to the base of the tree and look at the roots. The root system of the Douglas fir tree is very shallow, and the roots are very close to the surface of the soil. You can see here's a root actually sticking out of the surface of the soil. This allows the tree to get maximum water from rainfall, very little rainfall, as well as prevent trees from falling over. It gives them a sturdy base. So in windy conditions, these trees tend to fall less frequently than other trees. As we move towards the pine needles, or the fir needles in this case, we can see that these needles are actually leaves. A lot of people don't know that tree needles are leaves. They're rolled up into tightly packed little needles, and this prevents water loss and reduces the surface area so these trees can keep their leaves throughout the winter and not have to drop them. So you can zoom in on these ones right here and check them out. Okay. Another adaptation, which is a fairly obvious adaptation, is the height of these trees. In the background, you're going to see a different type of pine, and you can see where that one ends. This one's just beginning. As you go up, 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 you can see the Douglas fir tree is incredibly tall, and this allows for it to outcompete other trees for the sunlight. And as you guys know from photosynthesis, sunlight makes sugar, and sugar powers the plant's cellular respiration, and it allows for growth and the production of ATP. So these trees tend to be a lot larger than their counterparts. Okay. Another adaptation, if we look here on the ground, are the pine cones that come from these trees, but really they're fir cones, and these are what produce the seeds of the tree. And these seeds are mass produced on these large trees. 1 pound of tree can actually produce 3,500 seeds. And these seeds are distributed with the wind, which allows for greater distribution and an increase in genetic diversity. And the last adaptation we're going to look at is the bark. And this tree bark is incredibly durable, and it allows for these trees to almost be fire resistant, and so they can continue growing even after a forest fire. Not always, but sometimes. And it also allows for these trees to withstand other types of natural disasters, and their counterparts do not. The importance of these trees, we could go on, but some obvious ones here is a woodpecker has decided it's going to look for some insects in here. And so it provides a home for insects, which in turn provides food for other animals. And also, an obvious one here for humans, we use these trees to build and construct. Without these trees, many of the luxury items that we enjoy, or even necessities like homes, would not be around. And these trees also prevent for things like erosion. Their roots hold the soil together and allow for us to build in areas and prevent from landslides and things like that. So these trees are important to our ecosystems, important to us as human beings, and it's these adaptations that allow these trees to be around and to be so successful and to occur in large numbers. And that's why they're not extinct. That's why they're here, and we get to enjoy them. All right, this is going to be a jumping off point for you to start looking at some adaptations of the living organisms around you that you find interesting.